Hi, welcome. Welcome to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Reverend Kristen Kephart, and I'm the spiritual director here. Currently, all our offerings are 100% online, so if you are a first timer, please know that all people are welcome here. We are a radically inclusive community. So if you've ever felt rejected, or if some ideology doesn't really fit with you anymore, check us out and see if you feel like this could be your spiritual community. So we welcome you. We also honor all paths leading to a higher consciousness or the divine. So divine, whether you call it God, universe, spirit, you name it, we honor it. Just as a few, if you come from a religious background that is Christianity, Baha'i, Islam, New Thought, Science of Mind fits under New Thought, we honor your path. We are here to provide spiritual tools for you to work on yourself, to create a better life, not only for yourself, but to come together and co-create a world that works for everyone. Yes, I did say it, a world that works for everyone. Next, if you are on Facebook Live with us today on July 12th, 2020, please engage with us. Down below you'll see comments, or you'll see a thumbs up, like, or a heart. Put something in the comments. Do a shout out. Hey, Kristen's here. Lovely to be in community today. And then you could turn around and reply back to me. Hey, nice that you're with us today. Blessings. If you have a question, if something really, really touches your heart, put it in the comments. We do have a moderator that is there to address any questions that you have. I also want to let you know I am live as well. So I am participating in service with you. I will not be commenting when I am speaking, because that's multitasking and I want to focus on delivering a message. But other than that, I will be there engaging with you. So reach out if you want to do a comment to everyone, or you can do the click down box and reach out to somebody specifically. So please, join us and have an interactive Sunday message. Next, Sunday message. And if you are new here, or you just want to know who we are and what's going on, here is our website, www.cslcamarillo.org. We are updating it all the time. Go out there. If you have any questions, you can send a request and we will get you your answer or prayer or communication. I think that's it for this opening. I'm so grateful that you're here with us. It's joyful. It is a beautiful day. So right here and right now, I welcome you to close your eyes if it's comfortable. I welcome you to invoke, to bring spirit into the house, to light it up, to know that we are filled and supported with spirit, the divine, the universe. It's all right here, right now. And this is the best service ever. Best service ever, because there's never been this moment before. So I bless you and the path that you're on. I bless the musicians. I bless the electronics. I bless the whole world. Let me see if I can get a circle. I bless the whole, I can't. I bless the whole world, knowing that the words and our actions all are working towards a world that works for everyone. Oh, I am so grateful, and I know that when I speak my word, when I speak my word out into the law, I know that Spirit's got my back, that my prayer is already in action. So I just let it go. And I let us roll into a beautiful congregational song with Jennifer Russell and Michael Gale. So please stand up, sing along, and engage in this beautiful moment that we're all creating today. And so it is. Take it away, Michael.
We're going to watch a video that was done by a Jesuit.
Let's open our hearts in sweet surrender. We're so grateful to be with you today. I'm Jennifer Russell.
I'm Michael Gale.
Let's do this. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I'm We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Come into that beautiful open heart. Recognize the queendom, the kingdom of heaven right here within you. Oh, how good it is to be right here in this present moment. And let's open up our hearts to each other. Let's look through the walls, through the miles. I see you, I recognize you, and I love you.
So next we're going to watch a video that was done by a Jesuit priest. You might know of him. His name is Gregory Boyle, and he is the founder of Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. So without going into much more detail, please enjoy, and we'll see you on the other side.
No homie that found more job opportunities than this kid, Caesar, who I knew growing up in the projects. Got into a gang, and a smart kid, but he would always got into trouble and in and out of being locked up. I'd find him a job in the private sector in one of our businesses, but he'd always gravitate back to vague criminality. So this one time he finished a 4-month stretch in the county jail, probation violation. There he is sitting in front of me, and he says what gang members often say, "This time it'll be different." I go, So I pick up the phone. I call a friend of mine who runs a vending machine company. He says, "Tell Caesar he can start tomorrow." And 2 weeks later, there he is again, sitting in front of my desk. And I go, "Híjole, Madre Santa, here we go." But this time he pulls out of his pocket his very first paycheck, and he says, "Damn, gee, this paycheck makes me feel proper. I mean, my mom, she's proud of me, and my kids, they're not ashamed of me. And you know who I have to thank for this job." And I said, "Well, gosh, who?" And he looked at me strangely and he said, well, God, of course. Oh, sure, no, that's right. That's right, that would be God, yeah. He said, you thought I was going to say you. I said, no, gosh, God's number one, yeah. He said, you are so lucky we're not living in them Genesis days. And I'm sorry, them Genesis days? He goes, yeah, because God would have been had struck down your ass already by now. He said. People always ask me about enemies working together, and it certainly is dicey, at least initially. And they always do the same thing. They think for a long-ass time, you know, and then they say, okay, I'll work with them, but I'm not going to talk to them. So I had this kid named Youngster. That was his gang name, a little tiny guy, and everybody called him Youngster, and I thought he was ready. So I bring him to Homeboy Silkscreen. So I'm introducing him to his coworkers, and I'm watching him as he shakes hands with every single one, even enemies. He looks them straight in the eye. And I think, wow, this is great. And until he gets to the last guy, a guy who seems to be wanting to avoid this encounter altogether, a kid everybody called Puppet. And when Puppet and Youngster are in each other's vicinity, they mumble something. They stare at their shoes. They don't shake hands. Well, I know they're enemies because I know what gangs they're from. But he just finished shaking hands with other enemies. This is a hatred that's really quite personal and deep, beyond which neither of them think they can really get past. Well, about 6 months later, Puppet goes to this store some distance from his home. And on the way home, he decides to take a shortcut, so he dodges into an alley. And because he's taken this detour suddenly, unexpectedly, he's surrounded by 10 members of a rival gang, 10 against 1, and they beat him badly. He falls to the ground. Somebody finds his body and takes him to White Memorial Hospital, where he's declared effectively brain dead. But in the first 24 hours while he was lying there beaten in the hospital, I was alone in my office, 8:30 at night, and the phone rings, and it's Youngster, Puppet's coworker from the Silkscreen, and he says, hey, that's messed up about what happened to Puppet. I said, yeah, it is. And then with a certain kind of eagerness even, he said, is there anything I could do? Can I give him my blood? And we both fall silent under the weight of it, until finally he breaks the silence, choking back his tears, and he says with great deliberation, he was not my enemy, he was my friend. We worked together. Now, can I say that always happens at Homeboy Industries? Yes. Any exceptions? Not a single one. I think Mother Teresa diagnosed the world's ills correctly when she suggested that the problem in the world is that we've forgotten that we belong to each other. How do we stand against forgetting that? How can we obliterate once and for all this illusion that we are separate? For there's an idea that's taken root in the world, and it's at the root of all that's wrong with it, and the idea would be this: that there just might be lives out there that matter less than other lives. How do we collectively stand against that idea? And I suspect if kinship was our goal, we would no longer be promoting justice, we'd be celebrating it. You know, folks will say no justice, no peace, but the truth is no kinship, no justice, no kinship, no peace, no matter how singularly focused you may well be. We belong to each other, and there are no exceptions to that.
This song is about staying above the line. It's called I Am Willing to Hold the Door Open. To me, when I hold open the door of my consciousness, I let more of God's goodness, more of the angels, more of all that is light and love flood through me. Here we go. Ready? Yes. Sing it now. You are my voice, and you know how to lift the heaviness of the world right now. You are my love's embrace. Your arms can reach any place. A child, a woman, a man, the human race. And I am willing to hold the door open. I call on angels to restore heaven on earth, heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth.
For our affirmation for the day. So join me. We're going to say it 2 times. First to get the rhythm, and second to truly embody it. Here we go. I make no secret of my connection with the divine and give it freely to the liberation of mankind. I make no secret of my connection with the divine and give it freely for the liberation of mankind. And so it is. Hi, it's Reverend Kristen, and I'm delighted today that I get to deliver the message. This entire month, the theme for July is Unchained Spirituality, and this was decided more than 6 months ago. And you know, here we're at these times where it feels like, and we do see people in chains. So I didn't shy away from sticking with it, because unchained spirituality is the ultimate freedom. The ultimate freedom that we are on this journey to learn for ourselves. So in Science of Mind, we believe there is one mind. And it gets a little tricky because we say in the one mind, and then all of a sudden we bring in human duality, and it's confusing. But just imagine, well, there's one ocean. One ocean. Now you're going to say there's multiple oceans, but just bear with me. There's one ocean, and we are all part of that one ocean. I am a drop in that ocean. And when I'm outside of that big body of water, I'm an individual. But when I am part of the whole of the one, I am consumed in it, as it, and of it. I still have my individuality, but there is this one source from whence we all came. So this one mind, some people call it God, some people call it spirit, whatever you want to name it. Today, I'm going to call it the universe. So we have the universe, and outside of our day-to-day living or our human experience, the universe is so vast and so big and carries all the God qualities of, you know, the divine. And it's also free of time and space. Free of time and space. So we know that we're all one. And when we recite or we say there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, and that life is my life now, we're referring to the one mind. The one mind. The one mind where the perfection, when we can see it or embrace it, it helps reduce the pain and the suffering of our human day-to-day experiences, because we know that those shall pass. It shall pass. So this one mind, this one universe, the beauty in it, the vastness of it, also has no favorites. It just is. It just is. And so by me taking and using it to see the perfection in my life doesn't take away from somebody else that wants to use it to better their life. There is enough for everyone. Loaves and fishes, we can see it throughout the writings. And Ernest Holmes talks about, and I mentioned it last week, that the ultimate thing in Science of Mind is to recognize that you're free from bondage, that we are all free. There is freedom. And it's that one mind, bigger concept of freedom. That's not to say we don't want to pull that concept down or up or around, because I don't want to just say it's up in heaven, because it's all around us. But this day-to-day living, it's our call, our duty, the way we walk through life is to bring that experience, bring those heaven experiences down to on earth. And so they become our day-to-day way of life, is living this one life, one mind in perfection. So as Mother Teresa, her quote of that we've forgotten that we belong to one another in our human experience. We forget that we're tied to each other, that there's a beautiful golden thread from that one mind that weaves in and through each one of us, that is visually a reminder for me that we are brothers, sisters, and siblings. And regardless of beliefs, regardless of skin color, regardless of sexuality, we are connected. No getting around that. So the getting around it, being able to look beyond the appearance of a situation that you walk into, or the way somebody looks if they're full of tattoos and it's frightening, that once we look beyond what we see, and if we look hard enough and we explore ourselves and we get through our false beliefs, that we do see a human being, somebody that is divine, loving, and the qualities of God that shine back to us. So we watched the video this morning of Gregory Boyle, and I'm in awe of his work. He's been doing it for 30 plus years. He is doing the work. And the work, and what I love about his book, or the way that the model that they run the business, or even in these videos, is he's bringing religious belief down, if we want to say it's dogma. He's doing the teachings of Jesus and he's doing that work, and it is bubbling up to actually see the work being done on this day and age. That video was just made 2 weeks ago. So in 2020, the teaching is just as relevant, but it is in today's times. So if you want to know more about Homeboy Industries, you can look them up online. They're down in Los Angeles. They have a fabulous bakery. You can buy salsa and bread at the store. They also have a clothing line. Anyway, his mission is to live in this this kinship, and putting gang members together in a situation that if they truly want to make change in their life, they have to get beyond the hatred. And he doesn't just press it on them. It is an experience that they work through in this model that he has. So he talks about this no kinship, no peace. And that once we spend some time with another human being, not to say that you're going to be best buddies, but once you have a connection and that you see value in another human being's life, you see that they bring value to this world. When something horrible and horrific happens to them, you know, it's devastating. And that's where, you know, my emotions sometimes can pull me down these different roads, because I find it very sad. And I'm human. And then I go back to this belief, and what we believe to be true, that there is the one mind and, you know, this unchained spirituality, that beyond any of these circumstances, I can still go back to that, and that is my truth. Everything that we're doing here on this planet, in this plane, in this time and constricted space, we are working towards that freedom. And in Buddhism, you have bodhisattvas, and bodhisattvas are having a essence of being perfect knowledge. And there is Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin she brings compassion and love. So as a follower, a Buddhist follower, if you're following, and you might see places, you know, when we used to be able to go out to dinner, that have, say, a Kuan Yin, and you'll see offerings, you'll see food or gifts for Kuan Yin. And that's not for Kuan Yin, that's for her followers. That's, they're actually positive acts of karma. She gives the opportunity for us to share our acts of compassion and love. She wants compassion and love for all sentient beings. So, you know, Kuan Yin didn't just become enlightened and disappear. Okay, she stays around, or is around, for all of us to, she's around until suffering ends. And suffering is happening all the time. We can look around and we can see it all happening all the time. But the vow, the Bodhisattva vow, is to rescue all beings from suffering. By the virtues of generosity and other perfections, may I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. Okay, so it's not about just me getting to, me as an individual getting to the finish line. It's making sure that we're all together and no one is left behind, and that we work diligently and we work daily in what we do, with that of almost like our code of honor of we're not leaving someone behind. We're here to freedom for all. And that's why it ties back to the talk title today, None Are Free Until We're All Free. So whether it's, it's in our daily practice and how we show up in the world. And especially right now with COVID-19 and all the stuff that's going around about racism, and that it is just so systemically just so ground in our American society that lots of people don't see it at all. They don't see it as an issue. So we're in this time of learning, discovering. There's anger. There's we're working through it. That's the human experience. But to be able to hold on the other side and know the divine truth that we are all striving for that freedom. And in the Quran, 5.32, and whoever saves a life, it is though he had saved all mankind. So we just do our work, and saving one or shining a light, showing someone the way, being way showers like Jesus, like the Bodhisattvas, shining the light, that we individually shine the light for the way, so people that are unsure can follow and follow to this train of freedom, to saying that we no longer have to be oppressed. We no longer have to keep something from one person because it might not be enough for me. That this concept that there is enough for everyone. So be humble. That's the tricky one. I look at Gregory Boyle, and when he shares his videos, he was asking the kid, where'd you learn that from? Or who do you have to thank? And, the kid joked and said, well, he didn't joke. He said, God, I'm grateful for the gift from God. And then he joked with Father Doyle and said, oh, you thought I was going to say you. And he joked and let it roll off of him very humbly. But he's up in the people's awareness and eyes through videos and talks and everything that he does, to also be that light and shine the way and show us of things that we might not have a clue about and we have judgment about. He is that interpreter for us to understand, and he's humble about it and he shares about it. So we don't want to run around and say, I cured blah, 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 blah. Or I prayed and blah, 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 blah. They're saved. If we do our work and we're humble about it, and if we speak about it in a way that it is in a teaching format, so I am sharing to give examples of ways to do this, I'm still being humble, but I'm not making it about me. I'm making it about the difference in somebody else's life, not my life. My life, I walk in and with spirit, and I know love and compassion and wisdom and unity, and that's what I personally strive for. So Marianne Williamson, a few years ago, I think it was back in the 80s, here's a quote from her. Our deepest fear is not that we are weak. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Beautiful quote. Beautiful, beautiful quote. And we also have Ernest Holmes that I actually have the volume that's 1926 and 1938. So the pages are going to be off, but it is the last page in part 4. In this text, it is page 590. And Ernest talks about having spiritual conviction followed by spiritual experience. Here we go. And this is in conclusion of the first 4 chapters. In conclusion, what the world needs is spiritual conviction, followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him or her repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. It is far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice the truth. Which is true. Sounds easy, but once we put our feet on the ground and we start moving our feet after treating, it's far more difficult than we're speaking. Not unattainable, but we have to do our work. The essence of spiritual mind healing and of all true religious philosophy is an inner realization of the presence of the perfection within and around about. It is the hope of heaven, the voice of God proclaiming, I am that which thou art which I am. Yes, I am that. You are that. So wrapping this up today in this freedom, don't forget who we are, that we are spiritual beings, and that we come from this one mind, this one source, this one magnificent, ever evolving thing. It's just amazing. So to when you're in doubt, to take a breath and truly get back in connection of who we truly are. And don't forget, there's a lot of don't forgettings today, and don't forget our connection with one another, this kinship, of creating this kinship, or at least this acknowledgement that we are all from that same source, regardless of circumstance. So if something terrible happens, that's where forgiveness and compassion come in. And sometimes the thing that happens is so big that it is hard to do so. But if we go back to principle, we are all one and we are all connected. So the goal for Science of Mind, or our mission, is to live in a world that works for everyone. So living in a world that works for everyone also includes suffering. It includes looking out for our brothers, sisters, and siblings. It includes being a vessel of love when you just want to scream. That's not to say that don't, take that time to scream, not take that time to become centered back into yourself, into that oneness, into that being, that spiritual being that we are more of than anything else. So we can have human experiences, and there is something bigger. There is something bigger, the universe, that is us, around us, in us, and as us. So I step into this day as spirit, stepping into this day being that way shower, of leading the way in assisting somebody to have a better life. Not hammering it down and saying, this is what you have to do to have a better life. Meeting people where they're at and finding out how I personally can assist, whether that's in prayer, whether that's in buying a cup of coffee. Lots of times it's just being available and to listen to another human being share what's on their mind. Yeah? Okay. So, unchained spirituality. Love it. Love you. And let's go into prayer. So right here and right now, I recognize with just an open, grateful heart that this universe is bigger than I can even wrap my mind and head around. That I know that it is ever evolving. That I know that each and every person on this planet is made from it. So just by knowing that piece, I know that we were all born into this world with freedom. We were all born into this world with love and wisdom. And that we have all these qualities and beauty, all of these qualities that if we've forgotten, we can go back and reclaim the truth of who we are. Take our spot on this, in this world, our dominion of what is ours. Takes nothing away from another human being. So I know that in this grand beauty and this grand wisdom and this grand love that's full of abundance, I claim for each and every person that those qualities they claim as well. That they step into a bigger shoe than they have before. That being small does not serve anyone. So I welcome you to step into things that you were born into this world with and as. So I know that there's plenty of everything, and there's plenty to share. And that there is love between our blood families and our chosen families and our relationships that we are holding on to and engaging differently these days. But it is just as beautiful. It's just as beautiful, and it is just as full of love and peace as it ever was. And abundance. I know that all our needs are met right here and right now. That there is nothing lacking right here and right now. The universe supplies. I treat for that and then I move my feet. The universe supplies. And for our physical body temples, I know that they're all working in divine right order. That it just in my words that we can feel every single cell inside of our bodies just wake up and activate and go, oh, what's mine to do? And whatever its job is to do, it is doing it at its highest and best ability that it can. And if it doesn't work normal, in our world of normal, then it has the intelligence to work for a different solution within our bodies. Our bodies know what to do. So with all of this and all of this knowing, and a prayer out for everybody that is going through these horrible situations at this time. I pray and I hold that through all the action that has happened and happening, that there will be a time where there is peace, that there is justice, that there is a world that works for everyone, that we can each stand and walk into this world and be a part of it as a human being and seen as a human being, recognizing all of our differences, but embracing every single human being as the same, without one being better than the other. Oh, and so I just let these words that have left my mouth, I let them go into the law. And I know that the universe has already answered yes. So in that yesness, in that knowing of the power and the presence of that one and only thing, that it is already done. And I let it go, and I let it be. And together we say, Amen. Thanks for joining us.
I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I'm grateful for the journey home. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I'm grateful for the love we share. choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I choose to remain happy, harmonious, and grateful. I'm grateful for the journey home.
Awesome. Now it's time for our conscious giving. So join me here. There's a slide here that shows you different ways that you can give to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. And if you've already sent in your donation, thank you very much. If you have it in your mind that you are getting ready to send something in, thank you very much. But please take that amount. Please take that love offering and hold it to your heart. Hold it to your heart. And join me in saying, the words will come up on the screen with me. So I'm going to take a deep breath. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy and confidence and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my good with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Amen.
Please join us for this powerful congregational song, Use Me. Use me, oh God, I stand for you. Here I abide as you show.
today for this day of freedom, and let's celebrate that wonderful presence right here within us. Something wonderful is happening right now. You ready?
Ready.